Eddie is unique. We've had chaplains from all over various genres, and Eddie is the chaplain for the Mad Viking Beard Club.
So class number 10. We're class number 10. Pretty amazing. Before I get into this, I'd like to start off on behalf of class number 10, thanking the dignitaries, the family, the friends, and people who trekked out into this cold to witness this amazing occasion of all these different chaplains that you can see to your left. We spent many weeks together, and it's been a pretty crazy ride. We've got fire chaplains, we've got police chaplains, we got hospital chaplains, union chaplains, we've got pastors, we have a clown, and even a guy from a Mad Viking Beard and Mustache Club.
Love you.
Love you too, man. When we came into orientation on the first day, it was a very quiet, unknown space. Everybody sat down at their chairs. Some shuffled around as friends maybe have come in that they started to take the class with. But there was a silence in the room. There was a disconnect. That fear of the unknown and not knowing what is going to happen, what this class is going to be. We had our orientation, and of course, Pastor Friedman here, he has his very light talk and his very loud talk. So you never fell asleep in the class, ever. You always knew what was going to happen, or you were prepared for that loud voice to pop up at any time. So we moved on to the second week, and we had critical incident stress management. That allowed us a chance to learn what kind of stresses people go through in this world and where we're going to be helping these people. It's amazing how long each of these classes were and how much time that we were able to put in and how much time that Pastor Friedman was able to put in with us. Our third class was traffic direction and control. We had a lot of fun learning how to direct traffic, move cars around, and have some fun in the parking lot with some flares. I know some of the chaplains over there, when they saw the flares come out, they were like, ooh, goody goody, here we go. I want to see this, I've never seen this. Our class after that, we ended up having human trafficking. And that was kind of a game changer for this class. We went from kind of fun to a very, very extremely serious topic. The room got very quiet. Bonnie Louderman, who ran the class, had such a passion for this ministry. And to see the words that she had for us, it was just heart-wrenching. It changed many of the pastors and chaplains that we have and made them see that dark side of life that many of us are never exposed to. The following week was domestic violence, which was equally as terrifying. You had people who had no clue what it was like that out there we have individuals that are suffering through domestic violence, which is not unlike human trafficking in the manipulation and the power control that these people go through, and the desperation. We ran through some exercises where we learned how desperate it actually is and why a lot of the victims return to their abusers, which again was eye-opening for all of us. Caused a lot of communication with us, and little by little we got to know each other more. We did the next class on chaplains in the fire service, which our brother chaplains that are in the fire service perked up real big for that one. It was a great class. Gave us a chance to understand the stresses and the problems that they are dealing with. The following class was death notifications and serving a death notification, which hopefully is something none of us will ever have to do, but now having gone through that class, we feel equipped and prepared for. We went through understanding crime scene investigations following that, which also was a very rough class because you never know what you're going to walk into, but more importantly, you never know what you're going to walk into with the police and fire and what they're dealing with inside. We as chaplains are the ones that have to chaplain and minister to those that are seeing this on a daily basis. We did a tour of the Macomb County Jail, which was very interesting. I think the most interesting thing that a lot of the chaplains responded to during that class was the sound of the door when it closed behind you, and knowing that this is what they hear on a daily basis. And again, not just the inmates, but everybody that works in there. They have very little staff, and sometimes they're up against one guard to 40, 50 people. So hearing the control and level heads that we saw from the different officers that worked there was encouraging, but we don't know what they have going on inside. We met an amazing officer that was working there that shared with us some family stuff that he had going on that coincided with the jail, which seeing someone open up that much and open their doors to us was very encouraging. We went through cultural diversity / awareness, which that was a very fun class. It was an incredibly fun class because we learned that culture has more than just color. We learned that culture could be beards, culture could be clowns, culture could be, people who wear blue coats. Culture can be anything, but we put too many labels on things. But one of the cultures that we realized within our class is that we're a culture of chaplains. We each have unique abilities. We each have unique things that we bring to the table within our ministries. But inside, we're a culture of chaplains. That we stand shoulder to shoulder. We know we can call each other at any time. We went through subject control techniques and self-defense, where we learned that you don't mess with Mignetta, because
Amen.
she can bake an amazing cake, but you don't talk back to her, because she has a really mean kick and a really mean left. We learned CPR and first aid, which I've heard our cards and certificates for that are here. Those were two really good classes. We enjoyed those. We learned how difficult it is to actually go through the chest compressions and how long you would actually have to take to go through series after series after series, waiting for EMTs to show up. We would just go through 2 minutes worth and be absolutely exhausted, knowing that it could be 15 to 20. We went through positive reflection through interpersonal communication, where we learned how to shut up, where we learned how to be quiet, we learned how to listen. We learned the difference between hearing and listening. We went through a course on 21st century chaplains, which discussed basically what it is to be a chaplain within the 21st century, and the challenges that we face, and the new set of challenges that we're going to be facing on a daily basis with technology and ever increasing social media. One of our last classes that we took was firearms familiarization, which was a Saturday class. It was absolutely fun. We learned about different kinds of weapons, and then we went down to the Roseville Police Department, went down into their simulation room, and actually had to go through scenarios, which was incredibly eye-opening for us, because our boys in blue, when they go out on the beat, we think Why would that cop shoot somebody? Why would this happen? There's so many things that the media presents to each and every one of us to make us think that this is wrong or that's wrong. But when you're faced with it, and when you've got your finger behind the trigger, and you know that it's between life and death, and this guy's moving in a really weird way, it's hard to make that call, even when you've had many, many, many hours of training. We learn the 4 pillars of chaplaincy. It's a ministry of presence, it's a ministry of support, a ministry of experience, and a ministry of resources. It's one of the most honorable things I think I've ever been a part of to date. We've heard speeches about how, we have enough pastors and we have enough churches out there. And one of the things that was brought up in one of the classes was the flashlight analogy, we'll call it. And if you have a flashlight and you're in a room such as this, which this was brought up many times during class, and you're in a room like this, it really doesn't do much good. You really can't see it, and it's not going to do much help. But if I walked out that door with a flashlight in the total darkness, it's going to light the way for me and whoever follows. And that's kind of what we have to do. We have to be the light as we move forward with this, in that darkness, outside of the church and where everybody else is at. I had a couple scriptures that I saw. Romans 12:15 states, "Rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep." And I find that that's something that we have to do as chaplains every time we're with someone. It could be one or the other. Luke 4:18 says, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor. He sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free." We've got to be that light. We're the chaplains for these people that we've decided, through God's grace, been called to minister. When I became a member of the First Responders Chaplains and the International Association of Chaplains, when I graduated their class and received my badge, you look at the badge and you're like, is it going to be a cool number? But it turned out that my badge was a very significant number to me. My badge is a constant reminder of why and how often I'm supposed to do this, because my badge is number 365, which is a constant reminder that every day we're chaplains. Not when we get the call, not when we're at home, not when we're at church, 365 days of the year, every day, because we're on call all the time. In summary, I want to thank all the friends and family again for coming. And if we could give another big round of applause here for Pastor James. This has been probably one of the most beneficial classes I've ever attended. And I say that from my heart. Thank you.